Check, check, one, check, one, check, one.
All right. All right. So, what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name's Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. Today is March 21st, 2024, about 5:30 p.m., and I've been fasting all day. I have a terrible headache. And I can't wait to drink water. And yeah, I'm going to be doing this live stream hopefully very fast. But I wanted to talk about this big topic that's happening right now in the news in the world today. It's a major historic event. This is the second episode of God Loves Black People. I haven't done one in months since the African refugees landed on the coast of Italy a few months ago. Thousands of them poured in, surviving the treacherous waters of the Mediterranean when white supremacists and racists and European nationalists would rather have those women, children, and young people die in the waters. Now we're out here talking about this story about this young man. Actually, well, I'll still call him a young man because hopefully he'll still have many more years ahead of him. We're going to be talking about Vaughan Gething. Vaughan Gething. I looked it up right before turning on this live stream. He is the very first black man to ever become the leader of any country in Europe. Today, this is happening today. This is a historic moment. This man deserves a round of applause. I did some background checks on him just to make sure I wasn't coming up to talk about some, COON. He's a part of the Labour Party, which is the left party in the United Kingdom. He's also spoken openly about his experiences being a mixed race black man dealing with racism in the UK. So he is not somebody who is just a black face in a high place, okay? Something like that. I dug into his resume. Gonna jump into the comments right here. Rodman says, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, digging his resume. I digged into his resume. He is on the good side. I'm telling you, Rodman, this guy, he's 100. He's 100 with me, and he's good people. If he's Simon Hill approved, I only talk positively about black people who at least I would agree with on 99% of the things they would say coming out of their mouth, and also, who have survived white supremacist terror in these nations that we just so happen to inhabit. So, yeah, let's jump into this. I'm going to read this story very quickly because, once again, I'm very hungry, very thirsty, and I want to eat and break fast with my wife during Ramadan. We're going to jump into this story from Reuters. Gething set to become Wales's first black leader, March 16th, 2024. So, London, March 16th. Vaughan Gething won the Welsh Labour Party leadership contest on Saturday, meaning he will become the first black leader of the semi-autonomous government in Wales. Today, we turn a page in the book of our nation's history, not just because I have the honor of becoming the first black leader in any European country, but because the generational dial has jumped too. Gething, 50, said in a speech after the result was announced. I watched the video, and once again, I have all the videos that I will be showing today in the description of this video. So if you want to check it out yourself, it wasn't, how can I say this? The UK has a different political system. It's not like a popular vote system like in many other democracies, or how in the US we have selected bodies that represent the popular vote, the electoral college and that sort of stuff. He was selected by the party that won the majority in his region. So Labour selected him to be the new leader, just like how Rishi Sunak was selected by his party to be the leader of the entire UK. Still a major thing because people that voted for Labour in Wales obviously knew that this man was a part of the party, and they knew that there was a possibility he could be a part of it. So yeah, this is still very great, very great. So Rodman said, keep it trill and salute. I will always keep it trill. It's in my name. I always live up to my name. I've never told a public lie, and I'll always be out here repping for our people and always speaking positively about our people and fighting against white supremacy for our people. Absolutely beautiful story right here. Rodman jumped into the comments and said one more thing. Thanks for bringing this to light. It's getting no press. Absolutely. Usually I read from the New York Times. They ain't talk about it. There's another American outlet that wrote about this story, which I will cover. They covered this story from the racist, white supremacist angle. That, of course, American media will cover the story about a black man being the leader of any nation in the UK or any nation in the EU or in Europe. Sorry. But let's get to it. So, devolution is not something that I have had to get used to or to adapt to or to apologize for. Devolution, Welsh solutions to Welsh problems and opportunities is in my blood. Gething, currently Minister of Economy, added. I don't know what devolution means. Is that a Welsh term? Do they have different words in Welsh? I know they speak a different language. Never heard that one. Zambian born Gething will replace incumbent Mark Drakefold, who in December announced his departure after 5 years leading the Welsh government, which has responsibility for a limited number of devolved areas, including health and education. Keir Starmer, leader of Britain's Labour Party, which opinion polls show as likely to win power in the national election due later this year, congratulated Gething in a statement. All right, so it sounds like Labour is taking a sweep. Sounds like Labour is sweeping the UK politics, and that's a good thing. You know, I think the Conservatives have had their time in government, and they've only worsened the crisis in the UK. We've heard news about people, having their salaries cut, many people losing their homes. There are a lot of homeless people, and there's a lot of poverty in the UK. It's time that we have maybe Labour in charge to make sure the system is better. So, Rodman says they don't want to talk about it. I wonder why. Shaking my head. We're going to find out why. We're going to find out why. I'm going to jump into that very quickly, Rodman. So hang tight. Act Dennis Shaheen Hill, my beautiful wife, who is now moderator. That's why she's got the wrench in here. So y'all talk spicy. She can spank y'all real quick. She said, devolution, to transfer a delegation of power to a lower level, especially by central government to local or regional administration. Okay, so I think he's talking about he is not used to having this high level of power where devolution will fall on his shoulders. He is the one responsible for administering this section of the United Kingdom. So, on behalf of the entire UK Labour Party, we look forward to campaigning with Vaughan in this new chapter for Wales to deliver Labour governments across Britain. Drakeford will resign as First Minister of Wales on March 19th. The Labour Party said in a statement with the Welsh Parliament, the Senedd, that's a funny name. That's a funny way of saying Senate. The Senedd. Sounds like a rap group. It sounds like I'm going to keep that moving. All right. The Senate formally set to elect the next leader on March 20th. Also congratulating Gething on the win, conservative British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said on social media that he was committed to working together constructively. All right. And I believe that's the end of the article. So this is just the basic story that Reuters gave out. But look how American media twists this story. Look how American media, supposedly CBS is not, Fox News. CBS is not, OAN. This is CBS. Wales' election of its first black leader means no white man runs a UK government for the first time ever. Now, how do you not see a problem with running the story this way? Are you serious? So what are you trying to imply? That not having white men in power is something dangerous, is as if this is something we should be afraid of, as if this is the end of the world. Should we all start pulling our eyes out and ripping our hair out of our heads? I don't have any hair to rip out, but what are you trying to imply with this title? This is clickbaity. This is sensational. This is rage bait. What are you trying to say with this? Does anybody else find a problem with this? Titling it this way. Agdenis Shaheen said, I found out he also studied employment law, so he might even have a socialist here. Yeah, damn right. So in the UK, I think their politics are very similar to how ours are in the US, where socialism and communism are seen as dirty words or bad words. But Labour Party, their party sort of fills that gap of people advocating for workers' rights and better conditions for all people in society. But either way, titling the story this way from American media is showing that on one hand, I think US media is insistent on trying to just get as many clicks as possible. So when you put black leader, no white man, that's going to get people riled up. That's going to make people click. But should we continue to try to feed the basis instincts of the internet? Should we just continue to try to feed the rage bait culture, this racist culture that's online where anything that anybody black does needs to be up for debate, especially if it's something good? Do we really need to do that? We already have this stupid debate in the US right now about DEI, as if people are unqualified to be pilots, doctors, engineers, lawyers, just because they're black. We've already gotten rid of affirmative action because apparently that was too much for people to handle, that black people would have some sort of hypothetical advantage on opportunities in employment and education. So why are we doing this? Who decided to run this title? Who said, "Yep, That's a good thing. I think this is white supremacy in play. Going to read this story here and see how they frame it. So this was published on March 20th, 2024. Vaughan Gething was elected as the new first minister of Wales on Wednesday, becoming the first black leader of a government in the UK. Gething was elected to lead the government by members of the Welsh Parliament in Cardiff 4 days after winning the contest to be leader of Wales's governing Labour Party. He secured 27 of 51 votes in the legislature, the Senedd, where Labour is the biggest party. Gething, the son of a Welsh father and a Zambian mother, said Wales is now the first nation anywhere in Europe to be led by a black person. I cannot stop reading that and smiling. So, oh God, let me say this. Let me say this real quick. Some people might say, Simon, all of your episodes of God Loves Black People have to do with black people either getting to Europe or getting power in Europe. No, 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 no. That's not where I'm going with this series. I'm only covering the stories that I find interesting, the stories that make me smile, the stories that give me some hope, right? The reason I did the story about the African refugees who landed in Italy and they survived is just because these were basic people. These were basic people. These were people who just wanted the basic right to get to somewhere safe, to take care of themselves and their family, and I was happy for that. Primarily because Europe's immigration policies have been particularly racist when it comes to dealing with people that come from Africa. They let in all the Ukrainians. In the UK, they had a program. Let the Ukrainians into your home. So we didn't see anything like that for the Tunisians, for the Moroccans, for the Libyans, for the Egyptians, and also all the Africans below the Sahara, right? So I'm also covering this story because I find it, when I look at a man like Vaughan Gething, I know what he had to go through, all the mental anguish, being the only black face in a lot of places, and how he survived that sort of torture on his mind. You know, he spoke about it in this interview, which you should watch after you finish this live stream, where he spoke about all the times when he was a kid when he was called nigger. Literally, he said this in the interview. He spoke about. Having to restrain himself from being seen as the angry black man, having to go to places and dress even better than other people there, just so that he can be seen as more respectable. He talked about going to different offices and people think that he's security or people think that he works there as some janitor or something like that. All the things that I have experienced, and I'm sure many other black men have experienced, I find great comfort and also great power and great inspiration from hearing somebody who reaches such a high level in a very hostile place to black life speak openly about those experiences and also shine a light to there's hope at the end of the tunnel. So that's why I'm covering the story this way. All right, anyway, I'm going to continue here. uh, Gething, the son of a Welsh father and a Zambian mother, said Wales is now the first nation anywhere in Europe to be led by a black person. It is a matter of pride for a modern Wales, but also a daunting responsibility for me, and one that I do not take lightly, he told lawmakers. Somebody also said he looks like Juvenile. Somebody said they let Juvenile get elected. Call me Big Daddy when you back that thing up. Girl, who's you playing with? Back that thing up. All right, I'm going to continue here. He said he wanted to lead a country that can celebrate our differences and take pride in all of the things that draw us together. Gething will be sworn in once his appointment is approved by King Charles III, a formality. Three of the UK's four governments now have non-white leaders. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has Indian heritage, while Scottish First Minister Hamza Yusuf was born to a Pakistani family in Britain. Northern Ireland is led jointly by Michelle O'Neill and Emma Little Pegelli, meaning that for the first time, there are no white male heads of government in the UK. Okay, so there are white women in charge of Northern Ireland, right? But yeah, so Rishi Sunak for England, Hamza Youssef for Scotland, Vaughan Gething for Wales, and two white women running the show in Northern Ireland. I thought when you go, see, this is the thing. The UK is going broke, but now they're going woke. They're doing it in reverse. They're doing it in reverse. They're going to the broke part. They went to the broke part. Now they're going to the woke part. Anyway, I'm going to continue here. Wales, which has a population of about 3 million, is one of four parts of the United Kingdom, along with England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The British government in London is responsible for defence, foreign affairs, and other UK wide issues, while the administrations in Cardiff, Edinburgh, and Belfast, respectively, control budget items such as education and health. Gething was Wales's health minister during the COVID-19 pandemic and served as the country's health minister since 2021. He'll take over a government that is often at odds with Sunak's conservative administration in London. Wales has also seen a wave of protests over environmental rules by farmers, similar to those that have roiled France and other European countries. Gething's leadership campaign was rattled by the revelation he'd accepted £200,000 or $255,000 in donations from a recycling company that was found guilty of environmental offenses and breaching health and safety regulations. Gething said the donations were properly declared under electoral rules. So I don't know much about UK politics. I don't know if that was a big scandal, but compared to American scandals, Donald Trump grabbing women by the pussy, Donald Trump attacking women in department store dressing rooms, Donald Trump sending hush money payments to porn stars. I mean, if we're comparing it to this, this guy got donations from a trash company that was polluting the environment, and he's supposed to be the health minister. Yeah, it sounds a bit whack. Okay, but it's not as bad. It could be worse, guys. It could be worse. Either way, once again, salute to this brother. Salute to this brother. I'm going to be wrapping this up shortly because once again, I'm going to be eating soon. But Craig Mack jumped into the comments. He said, Chili Simon, what up in Serbia? Just checking in to give you a like and a comment in the chat. Catch you next live, Playboy. Shout out to Craig Mack. He's always the trillest, the realest, always showing love out here. So, yeah, shout out to Vaughan Gething. I hope he has a successful administration. Once again, like I said, I did some research on your boy before we jumped on the live because I would not be coming here talking about him if he was, some conservative. I'm just going to read a few things from his Wikipedia that I found very interesting, right? And this was how I knew that this brother, deserved a shout out on my channel. So I'm going to read just this intro. Humphrey Vaughan Ap David Gething. Who gives their kids that long of a name? It's like you're begging to get picked on. Not only is he half black, you gave him this long ass name too. Like you begging for him to get his beam pushed in. Anyway, relatively young man, born March 15th, 1974, is a Welsh Labour and cooperative politician who has served as First Minister of Wales and the leader of Welsh Labour since 2024. He previously served as the Minister for Health and Social Services from 2016 to 2021 and Minister for the Economy from 2021 to 2024. Pardon. Oops, I jumped ahead. All right. He has been the member of the Senedd MS for Cardiff, South and Penarth since 2011. In March 2024, Gething won the Welsh Labour leadership election to replace Mark Drakeford and become the first Minister of Wales, making him the first black and mixed race person, as well as the first leader of any European country to have recent black ancestors. Okay, so there is some. All right, I did start off with a lie here. I think I remember hearing about some Croatian or I forgot exactly, Slovenian politician who had a black ancestor from way back in the day, right? Plus, there's also been rumors that for a long time that Queen Elizabeth was like 1/8 black too. And there's a great video about that on YouTube. So, we're not claiming Queen Elizabeth because I think she promoted slavery. And if and the other guy, he looks white, so we're not counting that. But I just wanted to read this part about his early life because this is really dope. So Humphrey Vaughan Ap David Gething was born in Zambia in 1974, where his father, a white Welsh veterinarian from Ogmore by Sea in Glamorgan, met his mother, who is a black Zambian and was working as a chicken farmer. How you holla at a chicken farmer? That's wild. You a wild boy. His father was a wild boy. Hollered at a chicken farmer. He saw the Niash and said, I need it. I wanted the ass. So, Gething describes his father as a white Welsh economic migrant. When he was 2 years old, he moved to Abergavenny in Monmouthshire, Wales. My British pronunciation is not good. I didn't watch Lord of the Rings growing up. With his family, which also included three brothers and a sister. In Monmouthshire, his family experienced racism when an employer withdrew a job offer to Gething's father upon seeing the rest of his family. Speaking of the incident, Gething said, they said, come back with your family and we'll sign everything up. But We walked in with my mother and a trail of brown boys, and the job offer got withdrawn. That's a very powerful story. And wow, I was shocked to read that, in the opening part of the early life of his Wikipedia. Because you know what? Some politicians try to hide that because they don't want to alienate their base, especially if they're, in European nations or in predominantly white areas. They don't want to speak about racism because the first thing white people hate more than anything is their favorite sitcoms getting canceled, like Friends and How I Met Your Mother and Big Bang Theory. And then secondly, they hate dogs getting abused. They hate anything dealing with abuse to animals. Then the third thing they hate is black people talking about racism. You know what I mean? Like, or even caring about black life, right? So very interesting that he brought that story up. Very, very interesting. His father eventually found work in Dorset, England, where Gething was brought up. So Gething studied at Beaminster Comprehensive and Sixth Form in Dorset, followed by, I can't pronounce that. Who writes that? Who writes that? Where he graduated with a degree in law in 1999 and then attended the University of Cardiff Law School, University of Wales. During his academic career, Gething became president of Aberystwyth. I'm going to say Aberystwyth University Guild of Students, as well as the first black president of the National Union of Students of Wales. Shout out to this brother for chasing his dreams, getting his education, surviving all that racism that he grew up with as a kid. The story that I read here is not the only one. Once again, go watch this interview after this live stream where he talks about, what he experienced growing up. And the bingo card might not be full for everybody who is happy about this story because the man is married. His wife is not melanated. If your bingo card was hoping for the perfect pro black superhero for the day, I'm sorry, you're gonna miss that one spot. But I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters. I'll never fill that bingo card, but I'm my own black superhero, and I should be to you too, as you should be your own black superhero to yourself and your family as well. So that's really all I have to say about Gething's victory. We shouldn't get so hyped up about black faces in high places, but we should be. Supportive of when our brothers do survive and climb the ranks, because it is extremely hard. It is extremely hard. It's harder to be a black person who rises to this level in this world than it is a woman or any other minority, right? Because other groups problems or the discrimination that is faced against other groups is spoken about and realized all the time. For example, I teach lessons every few weeks talking about gender discrimination. I taught a lesson on International Women's Day. There is no International Fight Anti-Blackness Day. There is no International Get Rid of Racism Day. There is nothing like that. There is nothing like empowering movements for black people all over the world that's put in the media, put in your face, or anything like that. There is that for women. There is that for Muslims. There is that for Jews and all that sort of stuff. But for black people, there is none of that. So if we're able to not only survive racism, speak about racism, and also make it to high levels of power where we want to create a better society for everybody, it's an amazing moment. It's an achievement. It shows that God does love us. God blesses us. God will be with us to the end of times. We're a very special people. We're a blessed people, and I hope that we will, cherish each other the way that we should. So that's really all I have to say on this very short live stream, uncharacteristically short live stream. Y'all leave your comments. I don't know if anybody else jumped into the chat here. Dennis said, since race is a social construct, I think it doesn't really matter what says on their DNA file. I don't know what it says, if that's what you mean. But yeah, of course, race is a social construct, but it's a social construct that has real life consequences. Sure, races are not real, but the consequences of them are real, right? So, for example, Vaughan Gething could have easily been killed as a young man by neo Nazis, by people who perceive him to be a black person just because of the color of his skin, right? Vaughan Gething could have never got the job to get into law school had not, the laws passed, many moons ago that said black people could go to English universities and that sort of stuff. Jumping into the comments here, I was talking about the other people who have 1% of their black DNA, like Elizabeth. Okay, I get you. I get you. Either way, shout out to everybody in the live stream. Shout out to Acti. Shout out to Rodman. Shout out to Craig Mack. Y'all catch this on the playback. Vaughan Gething, God Loves Black People, episode 2. Peace.